All right, if you've ever built a model in Excel, you know that lookup functions are pretty much the glue that holds the entire thing together. But here's the thing. For years, the main tool we all used, VLOOKUP, was, well, it was deeply flawed. So today, we're going to dive into why its replacement, XLOOKUP, is an absolute game changer for anyone building a spreadsheet. So let me ask you something straight up. Is your spreadsheet a ticking time bomb? And I'm being totally serious here, because a huge number of financial models are built on a foundation that's way more fragile than most people ever realize. So, what's the fuse on that time bomb? Well, usually it's something hiding in plain sight, a hard-coded value. You know, when you manually type a number into a formula, like a tax rate or price, instead of dynamically pulling it from a central source, it is hands down the fastest way to guarantee your model will eventually blow up in your face.
Okay, so let's really dig into this first point, the very real danger of hard coding. Because you gotta understand, this is the fundamental problem that lookup functions were invented to solve in the first place.
Think of your model's data like a connected chain. When you're doing something like scenario analysis, you need that model to be, well, to be alive. You want to be able to change one little assumption and watch everything else update automatically. Hard coding just snaps that link. It turns your living, breathing tool into a static, brittle photograph of a single moment in time. So, for decades, the main weapon we had to fight hard coding was VLOOKUP. It's the classic, right? It's the one everybody learns first. It's been the absolute workhorse of spreadsheets for, well, for a very long time. And I'm sure the syntax looks familiar. You tell it what you're looking for, you tell it where to look, you give it a column number to pull from, and then you tell it if you want an exact match or not. Seems simple enough on the surface, doesn't it? In a perfect everyday example is grabbing a tax rate. You've got a drop-down menu on your main sheet to pick a country, and a VLOOKUP zips over to your assumption sheet, finds that country, and pulls back the right tax rate. When it works, it's magic. It's totally seamless. But the key phrase there is, when it works. And this right here is where the trouble starts. Because for all its fame, VLOOKUP has some really deep fundamental flaws. I'm talking 5 big problems. And these aren't just little quirks. These are issues that can cause catastrophic errors that you might never even notice. Let's just run through the big 5 flaws. First off, it can only look left to right, which means your lookup value has to be in the very first column of your table. Second, you have to hard code a column number, which is so fragile. If anyone adds a new column, your formula breaks silently. It just starts pulling the wrong data. Third, its default setting is an approximate match, which is almost never what you want and a huge source of errors. Fourth, it only finds the first match it stumbles upon. And fifth, you get that ugly #NA error unless you wrap the whole thing in another function. Seriously, every single one of these is a landmine just waiting for you to step on it. But then, our hero enters the story. Microsoft finally introduced XLOOKUP, and it was designed specifically to fix every single one of those weaknesses. This thing isn't just a simple update, it's a full-on replacement. And you can see the power right in the syntax. Instead of that rigid table array and that super fragile column index number, you now have a lookup array and a return array. You're just telling Excel, hey, look for this value in this specific column and give me the matching value from that specific column. It's just so much more direct and logical. And look at that. It's got built-in options for handling errors and even changing the search direction. And that's really the bottom line with XLOOKUP. It's way more intuitive, it's a lot more powerful, and this is the most important part, it is so much safer. Its default settings are actually designed to prevent the most common mistakes, not to cause them. Okay, so let's put them head to head. This is the main event. Why exactly is XLOOKUP the undisputed champion for any modern spreadsheet? Let's break it down. And here it is, this side-by-side showdown. VLOOKUP's annoying left-to-right rule? Gone. XLOOKUP can look anywhere. Left, right, it doesn't care. That fragile, hard-coded column number? Yeah, that's replaced with a dynamic return array that won't break when you change your sheet. The incredibly dangerous approximate match default? XLOOKUP defaults to an exact match, which is what you actually need 99% of the time. The ugly error messages? XLOOKUP has a built-in if not found argument, so you can decide exactly what happens. It even adds brand new features, like searching from the bottom of a list instead of just the top. It is a direct, point-for-point solution to every single one of VLOOKUP's problems. So, now that we know which tool we should be using, let's talk about the guiding philosophy here. There's really a golden rule that should govern how you build any lookup, whether it's XLOOKUP or anything else. And here it is, and I mean it, this is so important. Your model's logic has to be transparent. Someone else, or let's be honest, you, 6 months from now, should be able to click on a cell and immediately get where that number is coming from. If they have to spend 5 minutes untangling some monster formula, you've made the model less reliable, not more. Simplicity is always, always the goal. So to wrap this all up, let's try to internalize these best practices. First, always be deliberate about your match type. XLOOKUP helps you out by defaulting to exact. Second, please use named ranges for your lookup and return arrays. It makes your formulas read like plain English. Third, handle any potential errors gracefully with that awesome built-in if not found argument. And finally, if your lookup is doing anything even slightly clever, just leave a quick comment explaining what's going on. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know the hidden risks of VLOOKUP and the sheer power of XLOOKUP, the next move is yours. Go on, open up one of your key spreadsheets right now. I absolutely guarantee there's a VLOOKUP in there that's just waiting to be upgraded to something safer and better. The only question is, which one will it be?